But there's a debate raging. Did he voluntarily surrender or was he cornered and forced to come out of hiding?
Another fugitive who is having her day of reckoning is Alice Guo. She came face-to-face with senators today and, just like the first time, ended up getting cited in contempt for her refusal to answer questions truthfully.
And he's become the first head to roll over the Alice Guo mess. President Marcos fires Bureau of Immigration Commissioner Norman Tancinco on the advice of Justice Secretary Boying Remulla.
And just like that, we have our second high-profile arrest in less than a week. This time, I'm talking about the fugitive preacher Apollo Quiboloy.
Quiboloy was arrested after an intense 2-week search of his Kingdom of Jesus Christ compound in Davao City. But there are some lingering questions over how the self-proclaimed Son of God was captured.
Did he surrender voluntarily or was he cornered? And will he be extradited to the U.S. immediately or made to face charges here in the Philippines first? Brian Castillo has the big story tonight.
A scarf wrapped around his neck and face, dark sunglasses fully covering his eyes, a cap emblazoned with the word Águila or eagle, and the standard orange prisoner's shirt. That's how Apollo Quiboloy first appeared in public after months on the run. He was also wearing a sweater that hid his wrists, keeping everyone guessing if he had handcuffs on, as well as flip-flops when he was presented to the media on Monday. With Quiboloy were his 4 co-accused for cases involving human trafficking and child abuse: Jacqueline Roy, Ingrid Canada, Crescente Canada, and Sylvia Simanes. According to Quiboloy's legal team, the preacher voluntarily surrendered.
He surrendered. Note that the police has been there for the past 15 days, pero hindi talaga siya nakita. He did not want anymore his flock to further suffer. You know, one already died, 59 had already been hospitalized, 4 of which suffered heart attack.
But Interior Secretary Benner Abalos says Quiboloy had no choice but to turn himself in. An intense manhunt for 2 weeks left him cornered and with nowhere to go.
Nasa kote na eh, huli na eh. No? I mean, for me, it makes no difference kung sumuko ka man. No? Kasi yun na yun eh. Practically, napaligiran ka na eh. Kung nasa isang lugar ka na napapaligiran ka na ng pulis at doon ka rin nakuha, halos yun na yun eh.
On the morning of September 8, Police Regional Office 11 was ready with what it called a final assault on the KOJC compound. About 1,000 members of the Special Action Force and a Special Weapons and Tactics team were already in position. Quiboloy and his associates were surrounded at the place they do Bible school.
Doon talaga sa Bible school. Okay? Sa Bible school, ang formal name noon is ACQ College of Ministry. I see it as a standoff. Kasi alam na namin kung nasan siya eh. Alam na rin na nandiyan kami. So naglolokohan na rin tayo dyan sa mga searchers na yan. So pinaligiran namin at siniguro namin kung makalabas.
The target strike of 1 o'clock in the afternoon was moved to 3 p.m. Between the wait, high-level negotiations started. Quiboloy laid down a couple of conditions for his surrender. 1, a government plane to take him to Manila. And 2, that he does not see Pro-11 Chief General Torre. Authorities gave in.
Yung pagsuko, formality na lang yun because at the end of the day, whether he likes it or not, the end result will ultimately be the same. So maybe he just chose the path na feeling niya ay mas magaan para sa kanya. And on our part naman, mas gusto naman natin na wala nang masaktan pa.
The DILG also laughed off a story that Quiboloy was not in the KOJC compound when he surfaced.
Outside, pumasok. Kwentong kutsero yun. Alam niyo kung bakit? Nasa labas ka na, tumakas ka na. Ang tagal yung sinasabing, hindi siya magpapahuli, hindi ba? Naahuli siya doon mismo sa loob.
From Davao City, Quiboloy and company were flown into Villamor Air Base via a C-130 aircraft at 8:30 last night. They were whisked to the PNP Custodial Center in Camp Crame, where they underwent physical and medical examination and booking procedures that included mugshots and fingerprinting. The DILG believes it's possible Quiboloy and his co-accused got help from the outside that enabled them to hide for as long as they did.
Wala akong tinutukoy maski sino, pero undoubtedly, meron nag-harbor dito, meron nag-obstruct dito. No? I'm sure of those things. No? So kung sino man yun, it's up to the police to investigate.
For now, Quiboloy's legal team is looking at having their client transferred to the custody of the armed forces or put under house arrest.
We filed a motion for the transfer of his custody to the AFP, citing, among other grounds, security reasons. And we are hoping that the court would grant the same, no, or at the very least a house arrest, knowing that he is already 74 years old. He has a health condition.
His arrest ends a 16-day police raid of the 30-hectare KOJC compound in Buhangin District, Davao City. Former President Rodrigo Duterte has filed a case of malicious mischief against Abalos, PNP Chief General Romel Marbil, and other officials over the search operations. Malicious mischief is filed when there's damage to the property. Duterte is the administrator of the KOJC's vast properties. For News 5, Brian Castillo. We are One News.
Suddenly, there's a lot of quibble over the semantics of this, which I think really zones in on how the fugitive pastor was captured. Well, the police say they cornered this certain building, the Bible school, behind JMC, Jose Maria College. And actually, nandun kami sa ground, pinapasok kami media, dun lang, no, sa may restaurant, sa JMC, sa cathedral. But we were not allowed to go past the,
So it was
Very
cordoned
shallow
off.
So medyo, yun ang sinasabi ng, hindi kami nakapasok talaga. But the police say, parang napuntahan na raw nila yon, tapos nung they tried to go in again, ayaw na silang papasukin. And actually, I was monitoring the news that day. SMNI had posted that puputulan na raw sila ng kuryente at tubig ni
Inside JMC.
Brigadier
That
General
was early
Torre.
on.
Nung
First days.
morning. Kasi sinabi rin niya na I'm re-energized, we will re-strategize on this.
Yeah.
Huhulihin na namin yung mag-obstruct sa amin or we're gonna file obstruction of justice. And then nagulat na lang ako nung hapon. I mean, meron na mga nag-live ng mga KOJC that there was an increased police presence outside the JMC, which was the story being told by RD Torre kanina sa press con. Dinetali niya, kaya nagparami na raw siya ng mga police doon sa labas ng JMC, nagparami rin siya ng police doon sa may area ng Bible School.
Right.
Pero ito yung thing I think largely what people are complaining about is the lack of transparency. Again, diba, ito yung mga media, hindi tayo pinapapasok. We didn't get to witness where they dug.
Correct.
So we saw that, may mga hukay, tapos, or wala daw hukay, pero may fill in ng concrete, saan naman nanggaling yun, diba? And if they were able to arrest him, it seems to be, hindi siya nanggaling dun sa tunnel, kasi nasemento na siya, so paano siya lalabas? Another thing is, all the money that was spent, over 2,000 cops. We don't even know how many exactly. Ayaw nila magbigay ng exact number. And that's all coming from, public funds. So I think that's another thing. No? People are demanding some sort of
Well,
transparency.
initially it was 2,000 and then they added reserve to replace some of the
Right,
original
but
2,000
still, I
that
think we
wasn't there.
deserve an answer on how much, really, we should, how much, how many cops. I think we deserve an answer. The other thing is, he also supposedly surrendered to the intelligence division of the AFP, not to the PNP. So we don't really know. There's so many conflicting things.
May mga nagko-comment pa sa social media na sinasabi nga na kwentong kutsero ni SILG na galing daw sa Kidapawan, North
Yes,
Cotabato.
we
Doon daw
heard that. We
nag-surrender.
heard that
They
too.
flew him in.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
That's kind of the pervading sentiment around Davao City now. Yan yung mga kwento doon na
Right.
umiikot, right, from the members. So I guess kaya maraming tanong. It's also, I get on a last point, no? Early this morning during that press con, nung inopen yung question and answer to the media, the first question that was asked is, how did it really go down?
Right.
And
Well,
they were a
we'll
bit
try to get
evasive.
some answers later, but for
I
now we're
think
going to move on.
the one thing's for sure, the pressure in that compound was able to bring out the pastor, Apollo Quiboloy. In other news, President Marcos himself belied claims by Apollo Quiboloy's camp that he voluntarily surrendered to authorities. He maintains that Quiboloy was cornered and left with no choice.
Ang instruction ko sa kanila, etong last time, sinabi ko, pagpasok natin, huwag na kayong aalis dyan hanggat makuha na ninyo siya. And that's exactly what they did. Hindi ganyan yung nangyari. Ang nangyari, napilitan siyang lumabas dahil malapit na ang pulis sa kanya. To his credit, ang sabi niya, yung mga follower niya magpapakamatay para sa kanya at ayaw niyang mangyari yun.
The Justice Department has said they expect the United States to file an extradition request for Quiboloy very soon. Marcos commended the PNP for the Sunday operation, calling it police work at its best. He also assured the public that Quiboloy will not be given special treatment.
So we will treat him like any other arrested person, and we'll respect his rights, and we will go through the process. The process will be transparent. Everyone who is involved will be accountable.
At this point, let's take a look back at the events leading up to Quiboloy's arrest. The search for the pastor officially started on April 3. That is after a Davao Regional Trial Court issued a warrant of arrest against Quiboloy on charges of violating Republic Act No. 7610, or the Special Protection of Children Against Abuse, Exploitation, and Discrimination Act. This extended to his associates, Jacqueline Roy, Crescente Canada, Pauline Canada, Ingrid Canada, and Sylvia Semañez. Authorities attempted to serve the warrant at the KOJC compound, but they didn't find Quiboloy. And just a week later, a Pasig RTC issued additional warrants of arrest against the group. Come May 28, the Supreme Court allowed the transfer of Quiboloy's cases from Davao to Quezon City to prevent a miscarriage of justice. Authorities again tried to serve the arrest warrants against Quiboloy at multiple locations. This includes the KOJC compound, Prayer Mountain, Glory Mountain in Davao City, and the KOJC property in Kitbog, Sarangani Province. The police, however, were not able to locate him once again.
The search continued for Quiboloy, with private individuals even offering a 10 million peso reward for information leading to the pastor's arrest. Quiboloy's camp questioned the motives behind this reward. President Marcos himself challenged Quiboloy to face the accusations. On August 8, the Court of Appeals ordered the freezing of at least 10 bank accounts under Quiboloy's name, along with 7 real properties and 5 motor vehicles. The order also extended to the KOJC and Suara Sug Media Corporation, the owner of SMNI's franchise. Come August 24, around 2,000 PNP personnel attempted to serve an arrest warrant at the KOJC compound in Davao City. During the operation, a KOJC member allegedly died from a heart attack. The PNP insisted this was due to natural causes and that PNP personnel did not engage with the deceased.
It was on August 26 when authorities said the PNP's ground-penetrating radar detected heartbeats in the KOJC underground bunker. KOJC lawyer attorney Israel Torion vehemently denied this. 5 days later, about 29 KOJC members faced complaints, including obstruction of justice and direct assault. Authorities also reported the discovery of alleged secret hallways inside the compound's cathedral, of which KOJC said was a resting area for the pastor near the stage. Come the first week of September, the KOJC members were protesting the alleged excavation by authorities at the basement of Jose Maria College building. Reports had also circulated about the PNP's alleged drilling and excavation inside the compound, which, again, they denied. By September 5, the Court of Appeals in Cagayan de Oro City had also declared the TPO granted to KOJC null and void. Now, all of this led to Quiboloy's arrest yesterday, September 8th. The police say he surrendered after the PNP issued an ultimatum. He turned himself in to the intelligence service of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Negotiations began at 1:30 p.m. and by 5:30 p.m., Abalos announced Quiboloy's capture. He was flown to Metro Manila and taken to the PNP custodial facility at Camp Crame in Quezon City. First, following the arrest,
Camille Samonte has the rest of the report.
Following his arrest, Pastor Apollo Quiboloy will now face charges of child abuse, sexual abuse, and qualified human trafficking in the courts of the Philippines. The child and sexual abuse cases against Quiboloy are at the Quezon City Regional Trial Court after being transferred from Davao City RTC last May. The qualified human trafficking case against Quiboloy, which is non-bailable, meanwhile, is at the Pasig RTC. This case has served as the basis for the preacher's arrest. This afternoon, the issues regarding his arrest warrant were returned to the aforementioned courts.
Ang aking maging instructions sa prosecution, prepare all the evidence so we can ask for continuous trial para matapos kagad yung kaso na kailangan litisin. And we would like the Supreme Court, pag nangyari yan, na huwag pumayag na magkaroon ng dilatory tactics.
Remulla added that Quiboloy should first face the charges filed against him here in the Philippines before he is extradited or taken to America for the trial of his cases there.
He should face the music here, especially na pinahirapan niya yung mga pulis na hanapin siya. And we expect the US to file an extradition request very soon since he's already in custody.
Quiboloy is also wanted in America for charges of conspiracy to engage in sex trafficking by force, fraud, and coercion, sex trafficking of children, and bulk cash smuggling. According to the U.S. federal grand jury, Quiboloy is involved in a labor trafficking scheme where members of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ were brought to America using fake visas. They were also allegedly forced to solicit donations for a fake charity. The donations received are allegedly going to the operation of the church and the luxurious lifestyle of the leaders of the KOJC. It is also alleged that women were recruited to serve the pastor and were forced to have sex with Quiboloy. In November 2021, the U.S. federal grand jury issued an arrest warrant for Quiboloy in defense of those claiming that Quiboloy is being politically persecuted. Here's what Secretary Remulla had to say.
Wala akong pakialam sa politika niyan. It's really a criminal case that we have to mind. Tandaan nyo ang kaso sa Amerika at kaso rito, halos pareho lang ang mga binitawan ng iba't ibang klaseng testigo. Hindi naman yan pare-pareho. Iba-ibang buhay niyan, pero isang reklamo nila, iisa.
Aside from the cases, the Anti-Money Laundering Council has issued a freeze order on Quiboloy's bank accounts and properties. This also includes the bank accounts and properties of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ. Freeze order has been extended until February 2025. For News 5, Camille Samonte, We Are One News.
So how is Pastor Apollo Quiboloy's legal team preparing for this slew of cases? Let's bring in someone who can answer that. Attorney Israelito Torion, legal counsel of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ, or KOJC. It's been an eventful 24 hours for you. Thanks for making time to talk to us, Attorney Torion.
Yes. Thank you also for the opportunity,
Always.
giving me the time in your very popular program.
Always when we can get some answers. Look, he's been captured. I hope we can have a more forthcoming discussion. So there are some details on the circumstances of his arrest that are still not clear to us. You say he voluntarily surrendered. The police say he was given an ultimatum. He was cornered and eventually captured at Bible school in KOJC compound. We're even getting reports that he may have been captured in North Cotabato. What is the truth, Attorney Torion?
Well, that is the version of PNP that he was cornered. But note that the PNP has been there for the past 15 days, yet nothing happened. And even on August 24, it was really a melee, where we were, General Torre was only giving us 30 minutes and he was only bringing one warrant of arrest. I've been telling this, but without the 30 minutes having lapsed, elements of the police who were fully armed and fully masked destroyed the southern as well as the eastern gate, and they lobbed tear gases. So many overwhelming evidences that tear gases were lobbed, and one person died. At that time, 16 were injured yet at that time, and then 4 suffered heart attack, and 4 children suffered severe anxiety attacks. And eventually, all 59 have been injured, and we have here a situation where the cathedral has been converted into an advanced command post. It was actually desecrated, and then our school, my school, where I am loading the ground just been turned into a mining operation, tunneling operation, and excessive force was really used there. And on, I think, September 7 in the morning, I received a text. That's after the Senate hearing when General Torre was forced to admit because he really lied when we confronted him as to the truth of the tunneling operations. He even told me that I have to prove it and that it was only Photoshop. So I challenged the media, okay, we will verify. And I went inside and we were barred 3 times.
Right.
Even the city building official was barred also. So, but when the senators arrived there, it was proven that he was lying. So during the Senate hearing, he had no other choice except to admit that there was a, what you call this, a tunneling operations
Right.
that was actually conducted.
Attorney, sorry.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
sorry to interrupt, but you've said all of this before to us and also to other media.
Yes.
What I'm interested in
He
today.
was not arrested. He was not
yes,
arrested.
right. Okay,
it was
let's
a
just
voluntary surrender.
Let's keep our focus to the last 24 hours. So, was
Okay.
he arrested? Did he surrender voluntarily? Okay,
He surrendered voluntarily. Actually, ma'am, as early as I think before that, we had a negotiation with the PNP through Major General Silo. But then again, of course, we understand that his higher up would not favor granting us some reprieve. So we were forced to talk to the ISAF, no? As early as August 30, I think I requested Governor Hubahib, Edwin Hubahib, my other client who was previously suspended but now back in his position, to have an audience with the AFP through the ISAF. And since August 30, we already had that negotiation. So it was actually the ISAF who arranged the surrender, ma'am.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, my big thanks to General Hambala, General Peralta, the Colonel Ruiz, Colonel Kabading, because I'm very sorry for revealing their names, but I have to tell the truth because PNP seems not to comply with their promises. And it was them who erased everything, and but they insisted for the involvement of the police because they understand that the police need to save their faces, and that it was even some members of the ISAF who helped us
Okay.
in
Where
ensuring
did this
that
happen,
Pastor.
Attorney,
Yes.
where did this happen? Saan po nangyari, no? When Pastor Quiboloy met up with ISAF and perhaps Governor Jubahib, where did this happen? Did it happen
No,
inside
it was
the compound?
Governor Hubahib only arranged the meeting as early as August 30. But
Okay.
I don't know where the ISAF got Pastor Quiboloy, but what happened was that the ISAF insisted that he should be arrested inside the compound so that no honor can be broken because the police has already spent so much. And it was the ISAF who insisted that, the PNP should be made to appear as the one who received his custody. Under Rule 113, Section 2, ma'am, an arrest has been defined as it is made by the actual restraint of a person to be arrested. Now, there was no actual restraint that happened because the PNP only got in the loop on September 8 in the morning. It was only that time that I was shocked when I was informed that Pastor Apollo Quiboloy was already inside the compound. And I was shocked. What? He is inside the compound? How did that happen? So I assumed somebody made that happen so that the police would not, lose face. So when we went inside, it was only in the late morning when General Macapas got in the loop. General Macapas is the Director for Intelligence of the PNP. And it was him who promised us that there should be media blackout, because that's what our request. And it was when he went inside, I first went inside, I did not know
had no idea as to where Pastor would be picked up. And General Macapas also had no idea as to where he would be picked up. So it was only later around maybe 5, it was already about, late that he was picked up in the favorite place of the PNP where they always conduct their repetitive searches.
Saan
And
po?
that is at the back of the Bible school, ma'am. So that's what happened. So there's no
confirm.
arrest. It was a voluntary surrender.
So you confirm that doon po sa building malapit sa Bible School, doon sa area na yon.
Sa likod po,
nangyari?
sa likod
Oo.
po.
Okay.
Doon po nagpa-transfer ng custody
Attorney-
po si Pastor.
It is not just the PNP that we are citing here, but no less than the president who said that the pastor was forced to come out because the police were closing in. That comes from the president himself.
With due respect
you're
to the
saying that
president,
he is not saying the truth?
he must have been misinformed by his men. Secretary Abalos is not there. The president himself is not there. He is being fed information by the persons who want him good news, no? But if he would further investigate, he would be able to unearth the truth, ma'am.
So, you talked about
that's what really happened
you
in
talked
this
about
case.
negotiations happening. Sabi niyo po may negotiation na kung pwede
Yeah, it
sana
was series
mag-surrender
of
siya
talks,
sa
ma'am.
loob ng KOJC compound. Tell us more about those negotiations. What exactly did you ask for?
Actually, it was actually series of talks, no? When we met with ISAF people August 13, then there was subsequent meetings, etc. What we wanted from the ISAF at that time was that we would have wanted them to again the same request that the president would sign a written declaration that he would not extraordinarily render Pastor Apollo si Quiboloy. No, I think I told you that. The same request, I have been consistent. But at that time, I really did not know as to the location of Pastor Apollo si Quiboloy. No? It was only on August 8 that I was informed that he was already back in the compound in order for the operation to take effect. So that's what happened.
So to clarify, from August 30 until the eventual arrest or surrender noong September 8, Attorney Torion, that's when the negotiations were happening, roughly 1 week, a little bit more.
More or less. Yes,
Wait,
po. Yes,
okay.
po. And,
There's still something that's not clear to me. When you say that ISAF was the one insisting that he be arrested inside the compound, are you saying that Quiboloy was outside the compound all along,
yes,
all this
ma'am.
time?
Yes,
Where
ma'am.
was he?
Because there's
Okay.
that portion in the southernmost portion where it may be easy to sleep in.
Right.
And of course the police they love to sleep. So maybe that became the opportunity for
That
the
hurts.
ISAF to
So was he really in
go
North
inside the
Cotabato?
compound.
Attorney Torion, was he really in North Cotabato?
That I cannot confirm as to where his custody was secured by ISAF.
But you can confirm
Because
he was
imagine
outside.
what would happen if a news would come out and he is taken outside the compound.
Right.
Imagine the hatred that would be thrown against the policeman, ma'am.
So
Actually, I would not have talked about this if the promises were complied with. No, there was a promise that there will be a media blackout, and General Macapas requested just one picture because accordingly his boss would like to have proof of life accordingly, and we agreed.
Right,
Okay. But no,
Okay.
media blackout. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But when
Attorney-
we arrived in Manila, my cell phone was full of text messages. What's happening?
Yeah.
Because Secretary Abalos already posted in Facebook, and then when we went out of the C-130, there was already the PO
Right.
with the cameras, invading cameras, and then this morning we were not even allowed to, what you call this? We were not even allowed to join the press
Right.
briefing.
Attorney,
So
yeah.
we felt bad, really, ma'am.
Yeah,
Felt frustrated.
I understand because we've been covering this the whole day, so I understand your frustration. But coming back to where he was outside the compound all along. Where was he and who was helping him hide? I mean,
I do not know, ma'am.
he's
I do
already
not
been
know because-
captured. I am hoping you could be more forthcoming with us. He's already been captured, so baka naman you could, be more forthcoming about this.
I only learned that he was already inside the compound on September 8th in the morning. I was very surprised.
And when
And even before that, I did not know of his exact location. I dealt
Attorney.
with ISAF with all honesty, and I was telling them I really do not know his location. The intelligence service has a way of getting information and I would not like to delve into the details as to how they were able to find Pastor Apollo Siquiboloy.
Attorney, it's been 16 days long of serving this arrest warrant, and we've heard you throw banters with Regional Director Brigadier General Torre. Sabi niyo po, kakasuhan niyo siya and he will have to face these cases for his lifetime. I mean, it begs the question, why give General Torre his win? With this surrender by Pastor Apollo Quiboloy, you were saying that there are human rights violations with the implementation of this arrest warrant. But
with all honesty, ma'am, it was the idea of ISAF because ISAF wants to, its goal is only to maintain the stability of the nation. And that this is a potential trouble that may trigger big trouble, and that they told us that if we will give the PNP the credit, then they would not lose face. So that's the idea. And I understood it, ma'am. I'm a kind of person who's really patient. And I am only forced sometimes to throw diatribes because of, sometimes I also lose cool and because of what was happening in the kingdom. And there was so much violations of the rights of our clients. And so sometimes I would, throw such threats, which I did also. I filed cases already, but
Attorney,
not many yet. In the process of finalizing most of the complaints.
Right. Understood, Attorney, that you might have felt really frustrated and, of course, in your role as a lawyer of the flock of the KOJC. But let me ask you this. Was there really an ultimatum? They're saying they gave Pastor an ultimatum. They extended the time frame for that ultimatum, or else what? What was the threat? Was there really a threat na papasukin lahat ng buildings, etc.?
The ultimatum, ma'am, that's news to me. Honestly, that's news to me. But I confirm that there was a text sent to me by a high PNP official, and let's be frank about it, that's General Torre. And he told me that right after the Senate hearing, around 7:32 a.m., that gloves off na daw, and they would be, he blamed Senator Bato that they should be armed already in the searches, and that anybody who will try to harang-harang daw, they will arrest right away. And there were intelligence reports that I received that there was even a person already assigned to arrest me, even a relative of mine. There was also a person who was assigned to arrest Jay Sonsa, Ma'am Lorraine Badoy, the Banateros, etc.
Attorney
So,
Lito?
but a formal ultimatum, I did not know anything about it, or the 1 o'clock, deadline or something. That's news to me. I only learned about it this morning.
Okay, Attorney Lito, this other thing, right? Of course, now that you told us about what happened, this also came out last night na dun nga sa IS-AFP or Intelligence Service ng AFP. That's where Pastor Quiboloy turned to. Is that because of mistrust for the PNP? Because you also mentioned earlier in your interviews that you gave out just today that you're planning to request for either house arrest or for him to be detained at the AFP. The Department of Defense po has already issued a statement through their spokesperson saying that they're not going to, or they're not open to being the ones to have custody of the pastor. Can you explain that further?
Well, that's sad. Okay. Maybe that's the decision of the Department of National Defense. But having known that, I only learned that 5 minutes ago, likewise. And if that is the declaration of the DND, not to back up the recommendation of ISAF, we will respect that, and we will recalibrate, and we will probably insist in having him house arrested because he is 74 years old, and we will just make a plea to the court that he is of age and he has certain ailments, and perhaps they could grant that to the good pastor.
Attorney Torion, you have your work cut out for you with these Pasig and Davao cases. Will you still file cases with regard to the serving of the arrest warrant?
We have filed already some, no? And the big cases, we have held them off yet, no? Because we need to understand that not all policemen really had bad faith, no? When they implemented the orders. We understand that, and we will perhaps limit only the cases to those persons who are really guilty of the crimes that were committed.
Right. Attorney, sorry, we're running out of time, but I wanted to show you one last thing. If I could just call up the photo of you in the first photo that we got of Attorney Torion and Quiboloy. If we could just call that up. I wanted to show you this photo.
Yeah, I was a bit...
Who was in the foreground, Attorney Torion?
That's General Macapas. I think the one wherein I have not seen the picture that you would like to show. That's probably on the airplane.
Yes. And then was it the C-130?
Yes, the C-130. And he was requesting, sir, pasensya na talaga. Yung boss ko, kailangan lang talaga na. Maski isang picture lang po, hindi talaga ito maglabas sa media po. Yan, that's General Macapas. He only got in the loop around 11:30 on September 8. No? He was called by Colonel Ruiz to join us in the meeting. And pardon my face there, I was really tired, had no sleep. So medyo pagod na po ako dyan. So we agreed, no? And yun pala, dating namin sa Manila na po. All over the news na po. So I was personally frustrated, and but it happened. That's life.
Okay. Well, we will continue to follow this case, and we'll call you back in to talk to us about another time.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Attorney Israelito Torion, lawyer to Pastor Apollo Quiboloy and his group, KOJC.
Well, up next, in her much-anticipated return to the Senate, dismissed Bamban Mayor Alice Guo gets cited in contempt again for being evasive. More details on that when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching the big story here on One News. It's like deja vu. In her much-anticipated return to the Senate, dismissed Banban Mayor Alice Guo got cited in contempt yet again for refusing to answer questions as basic as her identity. Rainiel Pawid with the report.
Facing the senators once more for the first time in 3 months, Alice Go remained willful and evasive. She tried to skirt even basic questions about her identity.
Ikaw ba daw si Guo Huaping?
Madam Chair, Sen, pasensya na po talaga. Ako po si Alice Go po.
You were born in China, not in Tarlac. Tama po ba?
Ang alam ko po, I was born in Tarlac po, Madam Chair.
Even when Senator Risa Hontiveros, chair of the hearing, brought out the document once again proving the fingerprints of Alice Go and Guo Huaping match, Alice stuck to her guns.
Hindi ko po alam kung paano po nangyari. Basta alam ko po, ako po si Alice Go po. At pasensya na rin po kung hindi po kayo naniniwala. Ako sinasabi ko, as much as possible po, gusto ko rin pong sabihin po sa inyo lahat at sa mga magiging questions nyo rin po sa akin mamaya, may consideration lang din po ako sa safety ko rin po.
Stop being evasive before this committee. Finlash namin ulit yung dactyloscopy report ng NBI, no? Result of examination after a thorough examination and analysis, fingerprints of Guo Huaping, Ilin, and fingerprints of Guo Alice Ileal were found identical.
The senators were left fuming. They berated her for lying to the committee and disrespecting the government. Alice kept bringing up the death threats against her, using it as an excuse to answer questions. But she also wouldn't publicly reveal details about the threats.
Nung nakita kayo ni Secretary Abalos, ang una mong sinabi kay Secretary Abalos, tulungan mo ako, Sec, na may death threats ako. Sino ang nagbabanta sa'yo?
Sagutin mo na ng maiksi at diretso, Miss Alice.
Opo, Sen, pasensya na po, hindi ko kasi masabi po in public.
Kasi
nga po, may safety problem nga po ako.
Madam Chair, that answer is unacceptable.
It is unacceptable, Senator Sen Joel. Pero
parang dinadamay niya yung buong committee sa kanyang safety pag ganun.
Malay namin kung binobola mo kami rito.
Pagkatapos mo kaming bastusin, gaganyanin mo kami ngayon, sasagutin mo kaming ganyan, pagkatapos mo kaming bastusin, pagkatapos mo kaming takasan, sasabihin mo may death threat ka, tapos di mo masabi kung saan galing yung death threat mo, hindi mo masabi kung dito sa Pilipinas o sa abroad.
Pinaglalaruan mo ang aming batas, pinapaikot mo ang mga Pilipino.
Kung totoo naman na may death threat ka, na-monitor ka na rin nung nagbigay ng death threat sa'yo, kahit mag-executive session, di alam na rin yan, sinabi mo na rin sa amin, ikaw pa rin yung source. Kaya hindi kami papayag sa executive session.
Ang Senate hearing po natatapos, pero natatakot po kasi ako sa magiging buhay
paano
ko.
ka tinatakot nung kausap mo sa telepono? How are you threatened?
Hindi ko po muna i-discuss po sa public po.
The senator showed another document with Alice's purported thumbprints and signature.
Is that your signature, Alice?
Doon sa under po ng picture po, signature ko po yun, pero hindi ko po alam paano nangyari po yun.
Paano hindi mo alam paano nangyari yun?
Hindi ko po talaga alam, Sen.
About halfway through the hearing, senators got fed up and cited her in contempt again, the second time for this committee to do so. The lawmakers also tried to squeeze out more details on how she managed to escape. Alice confirmed she and Sheila and Wesley left by boats, one of which was a yacht. But she refused to divulge the name of the person who facilitated the trip nor the owner of the yacht. Eventually, the senators allowed her to write it down on a piece of paper.
Sen, kung isusulat ko po, okay lang po ba na hindi nyo po i-discuss po sa public?
Miss Alice, please do not tell the senators what to do with the information na halos kailangang bunutin namin sa inyo na parang ngipin.
Opo, pero
Write it
Sen,
on the
natatakot
paper.
po kasi ako.
Right.
Guo insisted no Filipinos, no government officials helped them escape, but the lawmakers weren't convinced. She also said that after a few hours on the yacht, they transferred to a bigger boat wherein she and her siblings were confined in just one small room for days. The Bureau of Immigration has previously said Guo's passport does not have an exit stamp, meaning she left the country illegally. Although the name of the person she wrote down wasn't revealed during the hearing, senators hinted that it was a Chinese national who holds 5 passports and who now likely is in Taiwan.
Itinakas ka nitong tao na ito? O itong tao na ito ang nagdesisyon para sa iyo umalis? Kaya niya pinacilitate ito?
Nung una po siya po nagdesisyon po para sa akin.
So, nung una. Tapos
po.
nung pangalawa, ikaw
Nung
na rin.
pangalawa po, dahil meron po ako ulit ng mga naririnig, nababalitaan po, natatakot na po ako din
So,
talaga.
hindi ba ito ang mastermind mo? Itong mastermind ng lahat na ito? Amo mo ito? Itong tao na ito?
Sen, wala po akong amo.
Eventually, Guo also revealed that this person who helped them escape is also one of the ones threatening her life. Senators put it on the record that Alice's testimonial of how they fled the country contradicted at some points the story of her sister Sheila Guo. But there is now a legal issue brewing over who should take custody of Alice. Senate Majority Leader Francis Tolentino argued that the graft case should not have been filed in Capas Tarlac. He said the case should have been filed at the nearest RTC in the next judicial region.
From Capas, the nearest RTC would be Region 1. And Region 1, ang pinakamalapit po is Urdaneta City, Urdaneta, Pangasinan. Yung po ay sa First Judicial Region. But since the name of a Pangasinan mayor was likewise implicated here, yung pangalawang sinukat ko na malapit-lapit is Region 2 sa Santa Fe. Ang layo na po, Nueva Vizcaya, which is in Bayumbong, Nueva Vizcaya. Ang layo na po nun. And yet, yung custodial facility is sa Camp Crame. Ang pinakamalapit po is Valenzuela City, Metro Manila, which is 95 to 100 kilometers away from Capas. Tama po ba ako, Yusek?
Senator Hontiveros says she will sort out the issue with the Capas court. For now, Alice will remain in the police custody. Once she posts bail, she will be turned over to the Senate. For News 5, Rainiel Pawid, we are One News.
And as it turns out, the first head to roll over Alice Guo and company being able to escape is that of Immigration Chief Norman Tansinco. This was announced by the Presidential Communications Office.
It has something to do with departure of Alice Guo. This is also part of the commitment of the President. Hence we roll because of that issue.
Justice Secretary Boying Remulla admitted that it was he who personally asked the president to sack Tansinco. Remulla said that aside from Guo's escape, Tansinco had failed to address other immigration issues and anomalies.
Well, I have asked the president to relieve him and to replace him. If I were him, I'll resign already. Mag-resign na lang siya. I'm not satisfied. Marami kami naging problema na. Marami yan. Marami. Issuances of working visas was very questionable. I called his attention to it. Wala siyang ginawa.
Commissioner Tansinco was actually in attendance at today's Senate hearing. When asked if it's true he'd been relieved, he said at that point he'd only found out about it from the media and haven't gotten his dismissal papers yet.
Pinalitan na raw kayo? Is this correct?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Tansinco.
Tama ba yung Commissioner na
na-receive ko na
post?
na-receive ko na po from through the post sa media, but I have not yet been officially informed, Your Honor.
Vice President Sara Duterte insisted that she's neither a bratinella nor a spoiled brat. In a pre-taped interview sent to the media, she insisted some lawmakers were using the OVP budget hearing to take her down politically. Brian Basa has that story.
Testigo ko ang buong bayan na hindi ako isang spoiled brat. In fact,
that was Vice President Sara Duterte's response to those who said she acted like a brat during the budget hearing for the office of the Vice President at the House of Representatives last August 27th. That hearing turned into a heated exchange after the Vice President flat out refused to answer questions about her use of confidential funds.
alam ng taong bayan na hindi ako bratinella o spoiled brat dahil kilala nila ako simula nung ako ay nasa Davao pa, simula nung ako ay mayor pa, hanggang naging vice president ako.
In a sit-down interview released by the OVP itself, Duterte says she wanted to air her side on the matter.
Gusto ko na malaman ng taong bayan at ma-explain sa taong bayan kung bakit hindi ako sumasagot sa question and answer sa budget hearing ng Office of the Vice President. Gusto ko kasi na maintindihan ng taong bayan saan ba ako nanggagaling.
She puts the blame squarely on the lawmakers, insisting they're just not used to getting answers they don't like.
Sa palagay ko, hindi lang sanay ang iilan na mga miyembro ng House of Representatives na hindi nila makuha yung gusto nila at gusto nilang marinig na sagot. Kaya sa tingin ko, isa din itong parang atake din nila na parang, oh, bratinela yan. Kahit na sumagot naman ako, hindi nga lang sa gusto nila.
Duterte also repeats a previous allegation that her budget was being politicized.
Nakikita namin na ginagamit siya ng ibang mga miyembro, iilan na mga miyembro ng Kongreso para umatake sa akin dahil hindi kami magkasama sa politika.
The 6-minute video released by the OVP, which was apparently recorded on September 4th, was also short on details on why her office is asking for over 2 billion pesos for 2025. They say there will be a part 2 released tomorrow, along with the continuation of the budget hearing for the OVP at the House. In response, some House lawmakers are challenging the Vice President to prove that she is not a spoiled brat. House Deputy Majority Leader Jude Asidre questions why VP Sara is explaining matters outside the House. The congressman insists that for the budget process, the Vice President should speak in the name of transparency and accountability. Assistant Majority Leader Jill Bongalon adds that if VP Sara believes she has done no wrong, she should welcome the chance to explain her office's actions. For News 5, I'm Brian Basa, and we are One News.
For the third consecutive year, the House Committee on Appropriations easily approved the requested 10.5 billion peso budget for the Office of the President for 2025. Just minutes after the budget breakdown was presented, lawmakers immediately motioned to end the deliberations as a tradition of parliamentary courtesy to the President. However, the Makabayan bloc opposed this, expressing a desire to scrutinize the budget further. Kabataan Party List Representative Raul Manuel challenged the committee to prove that they are not playing politics. President Marcos had earlier denied that lawmakers were politicizing Vice President Sara Duterte when they deferred the budget hearing for the OVP. Manuel pointed out that if the Office of the President is given special treatment, it would only confirm the accusations made by VP Sara.
Pinapalabas natin na nagsisinungaling yung mismong presidente by evading the process of Congress na mag-undergo ng scrutiny, Mr. Chair.
Back your statement na nagsisinungaling yung presidente.
No, Mr. Chair, that would depend on the decision of this committee. Kasi on record yun, Mr. Chair, sinabi yun ng presidente, Mr. Chair.
In the end, the Makabayan bloc was unable to prevent the termination of the budget hearing. With a vote of 51 to 3, the committee quickly concluded the deliberations. However, the Makabayan bloc was given a few minutes to speak before the session ended. And during that time, they criticized the over 4.5 billion pesos in the president's budget allotted once again for confidential and intelligence funds. They also questioned the increase in the president's unprogrammed appropriations for the following year, or those standby projects that are simply awaiting for available funds.
And just before we say goodbye for tonight, here is our big picture on this Monday evening. And it's none other than Filipino tennis player Alex Ayala in celebration of her new career milestone. Alex has just qualified for the main draw of the WTA 500, the first time since she turned pro. She made it past the last round of qualification of the 2024 Guadalajara Open Akron in Mexico after beating Samantha Dawn Murray Sharang of Great Britain 6-4, 6-2. On Wednesday, Manila time, Alex will be opening her WTA 500 campaign when she faces tournament 6th seed Marie Bushkova of the Czech Republic. So, best of luck to Alex.
Sports laging pampa-good vibes natin, ano?
Ano pa ba?
On a day when it's very heavy with news.
But you know, I'm just so happy that finally we are seeing Alice Go in Pastor Quiboloy answer to the charges.
Face the music.
Well, I think a lot of people, like myself included, were kind of disappointed at the non-answers in Senate.
We'll find out if they can get away with it
more,
with the technicality.
No, not really.
We'll find out if they'd be keen to give more answers in the coming weeks because I know what's going to happen is the lawyers are going to fight this on legal grounds, right? So for instance, yung Kapastarlak issue, the senators were already guessing that that's their next move, which is say that court does not have jurisdiction over Alice Guo's case. Therefore, they'll move to quash it. So,
But it's kind of a race, right? They could always file more cases. There's a lot of departments who can. Right? So we'll see. You're right. We'll see what happens.
Krame is a
it's
very
only
busy
Monday.
place tonight. Camp Krame is a very busy and interesting place tonight.
I know. Who would have think, right? That it's only the first night of the work week. But that's it for the big story on this Monday night.
And the good news is we have the rest of the week to talk about. With development.
Is that good news?
Oh, we are one news, all sides, all the time.
Thanks for tuning in. Have a good night.